Hello everyone, welcome to the Rural Communication video series. In this series, we ask industry leaders and experts about their insights on how to provide connectivity to the rural and isolated population of the world. This video series is powered by IEEE-SA Connectivity and Telecommunications Practice. I'm the practice lead and your host, Purva Rajkotia. In this episode, we have the privilege to have with us Professor Hsueh-Yung. Professor Hsueh-Yung is one of the co-founders of iCenter at Tsinghua, a school-in-school experiment at Tsinghua University in Beijing, where he serves as a director of international relations of iCenter. He works on the design and deployment strategies of digital learning infrastructures for individuals and institutions. He created a collective learning methodology, XLP, which is the extreme learning process, which is being practiced at many levels of educational institutions in China. Based on XLP, Professor Hsueh-Yung has co-created an associated degree program at Tsinghua, minor in technology innovation and entrepreneurship, that covers all disciplinary domains at this general purpose university and aims at using the experience as a basis to inform and reform higher education practices in China. Professor Hsueh-Yung has a Ph.D. in Engineering Systems Division and a master's degree in System Design and Management, both from MIT. He also has a master's degree in Industrial Engineering and Operations Research and a bachelor's degree in Mechanical Engineering, both from the University of Minnesota. So welcome to the program, Professor Hsueh-Yung.
Thank you. Thank you, Purva.
So I wanted to understand from your side that what is the problem or issue you are seeing in your field or region that ties back to the mission of connecting the unconnected or providing the connectivity to the rural communication?
Yes, that my current physical location is in Bali, Indonesia, and I'm facing a large number of people who are not the traditional kind of users that we will have in the non-rural area, in urban area. And the main problem is not that they don't use cell phone or don't use ICT technologies. Is once that they start using them, their privacy and all the data they generated belongs to the operator, not belongs to them. Therefore, the problem issues that I see is how do we deploy technologies in ways that we still give these people full privacy protection, and more importantly, even allow them to have self-sustaining operation. They can truly operate and own their data, whether they are farmers or they are villagers who do not have the traditional kind of industrial background, and that they should learn along with other people. I mean, people in the urban area. So given that idea that it turns out it is very possible to deploy all these solutions to even so-called the lower income sections of the world. For example, Bali in the last 1 year basically is completely shut down. Most people lost their job and have zero income. So that there are many of these type of social activities that is providing food from farms to low income or zero income people. And also they are still mobilizing people to do a lot of community services. However, none of these things they are using directly applied ICT technology. However, they do know that if they were able to collect the data, that how many people they have been providing food and how many garbage or whatever environmental cleaning actions they can have. These kind of data could be profoundly useful for their own local community governance and other obviously useful features. However, to gain these things, the technology to do this is actually cheaply available, both in terms of hardware and software. Then the program that enable these people to use this cheap technology is the true gap. That no matter how cheap these things are, whether they can use it on their own and also expand new ways and new modes of utilization, that would be the primarily challenge. So that's I hope I did answer your question. That's the challenge right now.
Right, right, exactly. So, how long have you been involved in this area or your industry, and what role do you play in the IEEE SA programs and activities?
Yes. I've been physically coming to this location, Indonesia, because we are setting up a new campus here in Bali. Since then, I've been working with IEEE-SA, with many of them, including you, to talk about a possible engagement and officially even setting up a branch office here in Bali. That's the plan, at least. We're setting up an industrial park. So the relationship with IEEE is to basically identify opportunities. Originally, I wanted to run a hackathon to basically mobilize digital nomads physically living here and also global hackers who can have help to develop these programs. But as I was trying to do this with IEEE, I realized, and also with local people, I realized that the people actually have very little idea about how to utilize the notion of technology standards and specifically data and information protocols, because programmers or non-programmers, they are very much removed from the notion of technology standards. As I just mentioned earlier, the key idea about so-called technology challenges for rural unconnected people is not that they are not already using technologies such as Gojek and Grab is national infrastructure for basically a kind of Amazon or Alibaba of Indonesia. However, that the problem is that they don't know what kind of protocols and protection they could have to protect their data asset and privacy. So that's why I realized that working with IEEE, especially IEEE-SA, to promote and also instill these ideas about technology standard is a crucial part of this educational process. And the technologies solution designed to tackle these problems and enable them to own their own data must be self-educating, self-sustaining, and also allow them to basically capture data on their own terms, not to be utilized profiting only capital, intensive organizations.
Right. From your experience, then how do you see IEEE-SA to support the challenges in terms of connecting the unconnected or the issues that you mentioned about the challenges people are seeing in villages and the farmers?
Yes. So it turns out as I was exploring solution spaces, I realized that most of the existing technologies not only are available, even the software packages, including so-called things like MediaWiki and Docker containers and all these relatively cheap IEEE AO2.11 and 4G, 5G kind of communication standards are already very well established. The main challenge for getting people to know they have a right to use these technologies and also the content that can be embedded into MediaWiki, and they can actually operate all these open source technologies or these nonprofit oriented technology protocols, and knowing what protocols can actually enable them to best serve their own interests within local communities. These are the things that IEEE can really profoundly shape and change the notion of data as an asset for rural community members. So those things are, I think, is not even available in many urban areas. And this is, I hope, what I can actually help work with IEEE and also local communities to introduce the idea of managing your data by packaging many of these knowledge containers to be running at home and in communities and in both local area network and also in global area network with very, very low cost, so they can truly share data and own the data by local community members.
Right. So how can the audience members or the folks who wants to get engaged in IEEE, how can they be involved in this project or the activities that you are leading right now?
Yes. As I was running all these programs, as the T-shirt I'm wearing is Pasarakia, the People's Marketplace. We mobilized 500 farms to basically deliver free food to many low-income people. However, the biggest opportunity for local people and also global people to engage with us is again using open source tools such as MediaWiki, using some of the hyperlinked technical document, and also provide technology standard content, the same exact infrastructure, and also food distribution and garbage collection kind of exchange platform, the same kind of governance practices can be shared across many, many locations, location independent and even time zone independent. And that's where technology can really help. And we hope we can actually set up many, many instances of community-run MediaWiki services. And then we can very easily change the complete sets of website, and then we can exchange knowledge content as well as operational experience and operational data content, obviously at a situation where we do not intrude any kind of privacy and also data ownership issues. And then people who have extensive technology background can actually help coach people here to deploy data solutions, and people have better governance experience can actually help write and edit the content for better data and also information operation governance. And obviously, we can also provide many of the local operation experience to feedback to other people. So it could be a very large marketplace for people to share and exchange this experience that we are establishing here.
I just wanted to get your insights into how important is this the aspect of education from the viewpoint of providing the connectivity to the unconnected and providing the connectivity into the rural villages.
Yes. In terms of educating, both in terms of technology developers as well as rural community operators or managers, that having a consistent set of vocabulary to talk about data ownership, to talk about what are the foundations of governance or collaboration in general. It turns out it is really time and spatial based understanding of coherence of agreements. So those things can be relatively easily achieved by having a set of well-organized documents like MediaWiki. So having very, very focused small sets of technical documentation features helps education and helps document the overall experience at many, many languages and at many locations, especially with multimedia features in browsers and also in relatively popular cell phones. You can already use QR code and many of the existing human-friendly user interfaces to provide security, to provide data sharing. Therefore, education actually at this age, what I've seen here in Indonesia, that the rural area has already been adopting many, many technologies. The only thing they need to know a little more is how can they systematically manage data ownership with proper security features. And those things require simple and multilingual technical documentation that can be read and or designed to be read by average people. And that's the educational part. And this is, again, why knowledgeable people can both keep the technical content correct while making it accessible to readers. That would be the main educational challenge, and also it could be an educational accomplishment by educating next generation of rural communities to access data safely and profitably for themselves.
Right. Again, thank you so much, Professor Ku, for your insights. Thank you again for watching this program. If you are interested, please visit the IEEE-SA Rural Communications Program webpage and learn more about our activities and how you can get involved.